Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of The Dip.
She just said don't touch the table. I gotta ruin it.
So today we're going to be talking about the
The education system.
educational system.
The
Yes.
education system.
System
Yes.
of education, if you will.
Yes. Real quick before we get into it, this is our last episode of this first semester.
Yes.
And it's my last episode with OSBS.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
Bye.
It is. I graduated in this Saturday. Which,
Yeah,
again,
it's a little plug.
December
To my
something.
graduation.
But so we're gonna go on Christmas break, so the next episode won't be out for a good while.
Like a month or so.
Yeah. This December.
December 9th.
December
That's
9th,
crazy.
this Saturday. So crazy. But yes, so I'm very excited.
He's the
so
only one
s-
exciting.
I feel so dumb.
Why?
Because I was like, bitch, it's not December.
You thought that we went to date?
Stop! No, I was just like, what do you mean you graduate on December 9th? I'm confused.
You're like, girl, it's October.
Like, and I was like, wait, what day is it?
Today?
Yes.
Today's
December
the
6th.
Oh.
So
Oh,
3
in
days.
I thought it was like by me
It's
when I thought it was the
ending when it
12th.
started. Oh
No.
my gosh. Horrendous.
But yes, I made little cards. If
so
you like this
cute.
design, there might be some stickers coming. They'll look better than
Oh.
this. This is very much
Some
like
merch coming your
homemade,
way.
Come on now.
Designed by our very own Brittany. But okay, cool. Let's talk about the educational system. I'll start off with a question.
Okay.
I'll say it and then I'll give you some time to ponder on it,
Okay.
and I can answer if I need to.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 1. How has the educational system either set you up for success or how has it failed you? I'll let y'all ponder on that. I have a few things that I thought about whenever I wrote this question. I think like failed wise, just some stuff that I thought about, but then also like that I've heard around is like we don't learn enough like basic life skills in
That's
school,
very true. That's
where
very
it's like, ooh, here's some trigonometry that you're never going to use unless you go into a specific field. But it's like, ooh, you won't know what a mortgage is. You don't know what taxes are. Hey, we're not going to teach you how to write a check. There's so many things that you want to learn, but we're not going to teach you because why focus on that when we can teach you pre-cal?
Bye.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I think that's very true
Yeah.
because I mean, I guess it was handy in the beginning formations of the education system. Like maybe these things were very handy then due to the situations and the circumstances of that time period.
Yeah.
But now with all this new technology and like new opportunities like every single day, and the world is constantly increasing and evolving and growing and whatever. I feel like there's just so much more stuff that we need to learn because our generation is like, if you don't already know it by the time you're 16, like, why don't you know it? Like,
Yeah.
the internet, the media, like, we need to know
Yeah.
things now.
Yeah.
So it's like, the way we're already constantly feeding in information that we have to get from the outside world that we should be getting in the education system. Like, maybe not always talking about what's going on in the 6 o'clock news, but, like, things about everyday life to make you be successful in everyday life.
Yeah.
But probably also because with the social classes and how like even though there's like the rich and the poor, it all like it's a weird balance on how
Yeah.
our world works. They
Yeah,
need
yeah.
that. So I know that it's purposely done at the same time to not let us know certain things or not let certain people know certain things based on how they grew up or how much money they have. Like they're purposely trying to keep that balance. And I just think if that way works for this current system, we probably just need a new system so everybody can be built up. Like there should be no reason why, in simple terms, everybody can't be like, built up the same.
Yeah.
So-
And then with something that you said, it's like stuff that worked then is
Yeah,
not going to work the
yeah.
same because
Yeah.
times change. And so I was like, why isn't the way we're teaching or the stuff that we're teaching also changing, keep up with the times? Which is like, not to say that like, oh, we shouldn't be learning English or we shouldn't be learning math and stuff like that. But it's like at a certain point, it's like you learned the stuff that you actually need for real life,
Yeah.
like the basics and stuff. So it's like, why are you making like these certain classes a priority and not these other things? Like, for example, it's like something that I thought about was like in other countries and other places in the world, like they make learning multiple languages a priority because it's like it's
Yeah.
beneficial. It's
Yeah.
like there's studies where it's like kids who learn multiple languages when they're young, they receive information, they learn so much faster. It's also like learning multiple languages is also just like very beneficial because you can communicate with a lot more people and you're more like knowledgeable, I guess. It's just because it's like I'm like I know it's languages, but I'm like I wish I learned more because it's like
Right.
they you do have to take your language credit in high school, but it's like they don't make it a priority. So I feel like learning a second language should be more of a priority in my opinion as well, because it's like why are you teaching us X, Y, and Z when, like, you know, America, they call it the melting pot or whatever, and it's like one of the other predominant languages here in America is Spanish, so it's like why aren't we like
Learning
making
other
that
languages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's also like I think about how like when I when I was here and I was younger, they used to be like, you're in America, you have to speak Spanish. And you have to speak English. I'm like, okay, great. But then I remember when I was in Mexico, specifically Cancun over the summer, like 3 summers ago or whatever, I heard these people be like, I can't believe they don't speak English here, blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
That's crazy.
where's
You're in
oh,
Cancun. Mama, you're in Cancun.
girl, you're in Mexico.
Yeah.
But we were in America and someone said
Right.
that about America, like, I can't believe they don't speak Spanish here. Then they'd be like, oh, well, you're in America, you speak English. But I just think that, like, learning a second language should be made more of a priority just because
Very true.
it's so beneficial in so many areas
Right.
and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Fritz?
I think as far as educational system goes and being successful and like, I think I guess like the way that I see it or perceive it is like with the like having a black perspective at least. I remember like my sophomore year of high school, we had this book sale and everybody was so excited, but when we found out they were giving away the POC history books because they were like, these we can't teach this anymore.
That's
I was like,
crazy.
I was like, why can't we teach this?
Yeah.
It's like because some people get offended and people get their feelings hurt and like this stuff isn't okay to teach children.
I get
But,
my
like,
feelings hurt from
that's-
algebra.
Right.
Like,
I feel like it's
come on,
because
bro.
Also, it's crazy that they're like trying to like cut certain parts out of history to make America look better, and it's like we're gonna find out eventually. It's like,
Eventually.
I was like, why do you try to cut this out? Like we're all,
No, it's like Columbus. We were celebrating. It was all fun and games because we
Come
were
on.
celebrating Columbus Day, and we had days off of school. And then it wasn't until eventually, and everything was like fine and dandy. And then we started like growing up, and then we would learn about Columbus, and then we realized we're like, wait, like why are we giving this man a day? Like what's going on?
It's really
Yeah.
crazy.
I compare that to like the educational system
Yeah.
and how that's failed me, like past years, like from now. But comparing it to now, I want to say that it has set me up for success because now I get to see people who are like me and people who are people of color and like trans people who are able to receive at these educational opportunities and opportunities as a whole. And so that, I guess, is the way I perceive like being set up successfully.
Yeah.
But I wish I had that like in the past.
yeah,
Yeah.
because there's also a point where it's like, how come we have to learn about this on our own? Like this, it's like we should be getting taught certain stuff
Yeah.
at school, you know.
Right.
So, but yes. Anything else about this question before we move on?
I guess my last thing about it is it feels like no matter what time period you're in, people are always fighting for something to be taught at in schools. Like back in the day, it was just inclusion. It was like, you know, segregation laws, not just white people and black people, but like any person of color, or just like the wealthy versus the poor. Like only the wealthy got educated. Like no matter how much we advance, we're always fighting for something because it's just, there's always something else that you could teach a mass amount of people in one space. And I just think none of that should be restricted.
Yeah.
Bro, Mama, I just want to learn how to do my taxes.
Come on,
Literally,
now.
like I just need.
I haven't
I
even
should
learned how
have
to do
took a workshop.
Mama, I don't even know how to divide. That's my fault.
That's my fault.
That wasn't the
I like
education
accountability.
system.
It's
But
my
meanwhile,
fault.
learning
We could
how
do
to
long division right
taxes.
now.
No,
Slay.
weren't from the podcast.
I think like one other thing before we move on is
Yeah.
like just this is like a personal thing, and it's not like a lot of people might not relate to this, but so my first language is Spanish, and I just remember like I struggled a lot in school, and I think something that I wish that like, because I remember they took me to school and they're like, he can't speak English, and they were kind of like,
That's
what do
crazy.
we
They
do? They were like, what do we do? And so it's kind of like, I'm glad that now they have a lot more things where it's like, oh, your first language is Spanish? Okay, don't worry, we got you covered. But it's like, I didn't have that. I was like, I struggled a lot. And it's also like, so I was learning English, but then I moved back to Mexico for a hot minute. Then I was still taking classes there. And then when I came back, I was supposed to go to first grade. And they were like, well, you have to take this test to make sure you're ready for first grade. I was like, well, I don't remember English because I haven't been using it, so
Yeah.
I'm going to fail this test, obviously. And they were like, oh, well, and they're like, well, you're going to have to repeat kindergarten. And I was like, okay. And so I went back a grade.
You as a kindergarten.
I was like, okay. But then I had to have a tutor because they had to translate for me. But in my head, now that I'm looking back on it, I was like, why couldn't I just have stayed in first grade and you have given me the tutor anyways if you
Right.
were going to plan on giving me to
Yeah.
it? So it's like, I don't know, like little things that I'm like, oh, I wish that like we had this and this and this. So thankfully they do have this, this and this and this. So they're better prepared, and their success, like people whose first language is not English, like they have a higher success rate now of like, what is it? Being successful in school.
Right.
It's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, y'all.
Yes, very indubitably.
And do
Oh,
spell
okay.
it.
Right,
SAT
right,
word.
right.
Spell it.
Indub, INDU. Cut to
B-I.
commercial.
Cut the commercial.
B-I-C-T-H.
Right.
Anything else about this question? Okay. I just don't know which one I want to do. Okay, we kind of touched a little bit about this, but it's what is something you wish the educational system would teach, or what is something you think that they could improve on?
Well,
Yes, Sinai.
When you were talking about like because you're a native Spanish speaker and you had to learn English, it reminded me of the time I was in high school and we got a new student and he only spoke Spanish, and it was a Texas history class or like an American history class. And they were like, yeah, so since y'all already know about the American Revolution, and I could just see him going like, no, what is it? What is it? I think we could improve on like, I don't know, either having, if we're gonna teach this subject anyway, having, I don't know, a few weeks or a course or an alternative for people who are like being thrown into learning those classes, like not having to learn them, having to reinvent the wheel, because we grew up having to learn that, and some people just go straight into class and they're like, oh, we don't need to teach it to you, there's gonna be a test, you know it.
Yeah.
Or like the internet's a thing and they're like, y'all don't understand it, I am still having a culture shock. So I think we can what is this? So I think we can just improve on like how to appropriately bring in people who are like specifically regarding America, not from America, to like either we need to expand on more than American history, or we need an alternative way to make sure they're learning at the same rate as us, because I just think being thrown into it is very unfair and very hard. Yeah.
And then I think also, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think it's just that. I think we need to be teaching more than American history.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more than American
There's so
history.
much more.
I just don't understand why teachers have us draw pictures of Rosie the Riveter and we can do it on X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And why we're not learning about the rest of American history.
And then when we do talk about like other like places that isn't America, it's only when America looks good.
We're only when America looks good, and then we
Yeah.
have to do projects and presentations.
They're like the war that we won, and I'm
Yeah.
like, the war we had no business being a part
Yeah.
of.
Or when
It's
we talk about
crazy.
like stuff like the Boston Tea Party, it's just like, oh, what do you know about this? Okay, like now we're gonna move on to the
Yeah,
Industrial
it's
Revolution.
that's
like,
crazy.
And I'll be like, wait, no, because there's so much more to that Boston Tea Party than like.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I was
Or they're
no,
like-
give us the rundown.
World history, the Holocaust, and how we helped, and I'm like,
How we help?
History, America.
God bless.
That is the
God
world.
bless. That is.
That is the world.
It's crazy.
We win. Westernization.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, going back to that, I think like even just like everyone learns at different rates and everyone learns in like differently. You know, what is it? Like there's the people who need to see visually.
Kinesthetic, visual.
Yes, there's all those
audio.
things, and I think that like they're only teaching one certain way,
Yeah.
and so it's like there's some students who are just not gonna get the
Not gonna
material,
get it.
and they
Yeah.
suffer because of it. But it's like it's not their fault.
Right.
But it's also like, thankfully now they're a lot more receptive to it, and they're like, if they bring up the problem, teachers will be like, okay, yeah, don't worry,
Yeah.
like we'll try to work around it. But back in the day,
day.
as if it was
Back in
like
the
years
day.
ago,
Right.
back in 2010.
That's
And
crazy.
people such as myself who do like need that extra help to get it
Right,
and to
right.
comprehend it, it makes me being black as well look very, very bad because I look uneducated.
And
And then people
Yeah.
come to me and they're like, "Oh, you're just uneducated. Like, we'll teach you more about America." And like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not uneducated. Like, I just need you to like teach a different way.
yeah, I just need you to reword it or something.
Right, and it makes me look very bad.
And then sometimes when you ask for help, it's kind of like we're being an inconvenience, and it's like, I'm sorry, I want to understand, and like I want to succeed in this class.
I
but
want to
you're
be
not
white,
sitting
mama. Like, I
up.
want to understand. I don't want to be white. I just want to understand.
It's crazy.
Braid's like, I'm keeping
I'm
that in.
But yes, it's just a crazy time.
Yeah.
Anything else about that?
What is it?
It was, what is something you wish the educational system would teach, or what is something that they could
Taxes.
improve on?
Taxes.
That's-
Girl, teach me how to do my damn taxes.
Taxes, or like
I think.
basic stuff like changing oil.
Come on now. I don't know. I will not get a car until I know how to change oil.
Well, I'm also like, I'm sure in their eyes they're like, oh, like taxes and like what are mortgages and all this stuff. That should be your parents' problem. Blah 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 blah.
No.
No, what if your parents don't support you? Like,
No.
what if
Exactly.
if you don't have parents? Like,
No.
Exactly.
You don't know. I also think, oh yes, that it would help to learn from a young age about not just different types of people of, oh, where you're from, where your skin color, or your culture, but also like the neurodivergency and learning, or the different type of people who have like different disabilities, just learning that from a young age and learning more about exception and inclusion, because bullying and suicide rates are still very, very, very high, even higher with the rise of the internet and social media. So like that has not, it's not been resolved. Like it has not been resolved. If anything, it's gotten worse because we're always bringing in something new.
Yep.
So I think one of the best ways to help out with that is to have, not just from like activities or like, oh, here's the life's lesson when little Timmy punches you in the face. Like, no, like you need to have classes, and you need to have as much homework as you do with math, or just like a different way to teach inclusion and inclusion and acceptance of different people, because we're seeing like neurodivergency or people with different abilities or disabilities all over. And you know what? It's okay, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think educating yourself socially, like street smarts or something like that. Some people say street smarts, but like, yeah, just socially as a whole is just as important as like academically, you know?
Yeah.
That's very, very important, because we're going to keep getting new faces, new cultures, new people, and if you don't know the basis on how to accept somebody, then you don't need to be in my class.
Remember, you
Like,
don't need to
that's
be in
just-
America.
Oh no, literally.
crazy.
That's a good thing. Like
Yeah,
I think that would be a great thing to implement. Is like just how to be a kind human being and not a prickly ass bitch.
Come on now.
Come on now.
Identity
Speaking for the
too.
world.
You need to accept
Cue
everybody.
the flag.
Don't cue that flag. That's crazy.
That flag is crazy.
The way you support America, like that's so.
Mama, it's satire, mama. It's
No, I know. I'm like, but it
No,
rhymes.
yeah, she's the biggest advocate for America.
She is. She really is.
Cue the music. Zun, 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 zun.
Zoom in. Zoom in.
Zun, zun, zun,
John, John,
John.
Boom, boom.
John, 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 John. John, 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 John.
They're really good.
For you, John. For you, hi, John. He watches me. He's like,
He watches this with his wife
Yes,
and
really?
grandkids.
I'll
Hi,
not forget, I
John's
won't forget the day.
grandkids.
Who? I don't know. I think Ty was talking about it. He was like, I won't forget the day that I
Not the
saw
plug.
John
Hey,
with
Ty.
his Glock in his pocket, and I said, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Like, John, we thought you
John,
were different.
we thought you were different.
Okay, sorry, back on topic.
Sorry.
Thank
that
you
all
for
of
those
that out.
commercials. Now back to the regularly scheduled program. Okay, wait, anything else that y'all have to talk about?
Do better, world.
Do better.
Okay, my next question, this one correlate, we are a theater organization, so I wanted to bring theater into it. So I said, what are some challenges you faced as a theater major in the educational system? Like, are they supportive? What are your thoughts?
Color consciousness.
Color consciousness,
Color
please.
consciousness.
I think that I literally, like, since the beginning of time,
Crazy.
of wanting to, since the beginning of time, and I'm gonna just like bring like people of color back into it. People of color have been set up to fail in the theater industry.
Yeah.
But theater as a whole of education.
Yeah.
And we have not only been set up to fail, but we've been like put in positions where we look so bad. And I think if I could use that to describe my years of being in theater, I would say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
When you don't, as a black person, when you don't listen to an upper hand, not only does it make you look bad, it looks like you can't take direction. Mm-hmm. And I think that as a POCs, like, in whole period, it just, like, we get put in these positions where, like, oh, like, you're not listening, if you can't listen, we're just gonna give it to somebody else, and then Sally gets it or something.
Yeah.
And so, all my life, I gotta fight.
Come on now.
But, like,
Come on now.
my whole life, like, in theater, like, I've been put in positions to where, like, I purposely, like, I look dumb. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to, like, UIL, when it comes to, like, any, like fun organizational thing, mm-hmm. like, they just love making POCs look really bad because it makes us look uneducated and it makes us look unprofessional, and we don't get opportunities like everybody else.
Yeah.
And
because the other people, they get like more chances, mm-hmm. but like with us it's like we'll take whatever we can get. Like we just need something.
I said you want ensemble.
Literally.
No, like I literally like since freshman year I've been like, okay, I'm okay with ensemble because I know that like I'm not gonna put myself in that position. I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm literally like I look dumb, but like not by default. Mm-hmm. And so all my life I gotta fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very true. Like it's not far off to say that the theater industry has been set up for people of color's failure because people are like, oh, that's not true. I'm like, well, I just finished taking MT history.
Ooh, girl, lay that on.
Yes, and we learned that like around the 1910s, during the age of like, before like vaudeville and burlesque, Bradley's watching like yes.
It's like yes.
Educate them.
Hi, Bradley.
There is also one of the earliest forms of theaters, well, musical theater specifically, is minstrelsy, mm-hmm. Is blackface.
Yes.
Is performances like that, which is literally mocking black people as a form of oppression, as a form that they're less than because we weren't even considered like human beings back then and all that. And even though like we learned in class, even though it was a dark point in human history that we should not like uplift, mm-hmm. we can't also deny that it gave way to like some positions and forms like the MC, like MCs in shows and stuff, that was pulled from minstrelsy, or like what's it called, the
Harlequin.
Not the Harlequin, but it's like a type of walk. It's a dance and it starts with a C. Not the Charlton. Maybe
Charlie Chaplin.
No. It's probably not a C. Like I don't know if it's the parade walk. I don't know if it's it, but it's like a little thing that like the chorus members did, and it was like all blackface people, and that dance move was like inspired, and they were like, oh, we could use this, and it kind of got evolved and stuff like that. So there were things that pulled from it, mm-hmm. but it came from a dark place, and that dark place was from putting people down. Mm-hmm. So, and for the longest time, like even all the way up to like the 1920s, they were trying to get used to having a little more integration, but it was still a touchy topic, and it just took a long time for like people of color to get their voices heard. I mean, like even in with 2016's Hamilton, people are like, ugh, a musical about rap. And I'm like,
No, that's not what that is.
It's way more than about bars.
Right.
It's way more than bars.
Way more than bars.
It's way more than the bars. Like, he ate, but like, that's not it. It's like, shit.
I look over and I was like, what's going on?
He's glitching. Someone help me,
I thought y'all
glitching.
said barbs and I was
No,
like,
bars.
these are
Oh
things
my
that I
God,
get better
dumb
yet,
ass.
which is that.
We love. It was like, like, that was a very color conscious casting because I'm looking to Edgar. Right. Yes. He taught us about it.
I'm kidding.
But because they really wanted to show America told by the people who, like, told by more than just white America.
Yeah.
Essentially, like a simple word, America in the eyes of non-white America, told by the true melting pot, told by people of color, told by this and that.
Because we're so used to hearing America being talked about by white people.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're the main characters, and then we rarely get talked
And so
about.
my thing was like, when people tell the same story and it just happens to not be a white person, what is the issue?
Right.
Like no one fabricated a story.
Literally.
Let me tell you that no one fabricated a story.
It was
the
history.
same story that history is told by all of our teachers, the books even, the white man even.
I passed some test questions by thinking about Hamilton. I was like, who's the third president? And I was like,
Abraham.
It's not. He's the 16th. My favorite.
No, he's not.
He is.
Abraham Lincoln?
He's the
He's
16th.
not.
He's the 16th president.
Bitch.
Are you gaslighting me again?
No, I'm not. Abraham Lincoln was like the one of the third, fifth, fourth,
The third
fifth.
was Thomas Jefferson.
What number is he?
16.
Thank you so much for coming to the dip
Talk
tonight.
Hamilton,
That
do
is
not
everything.
support him.
5, 6, 7, and action. Can you action, please?
All at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and action.
So I think something that, like, if you think back to, like, high school and stuff, like, the education, like, they didn't give a shit about theater.
A can of who
A
hash.
can of nothing. Like, it was, like, sports, and then theater. Like, we were at the bottom, so it's kind of like...
You have to support the arts.
No, literally.
Like-
And no, they love to use that
They
expression.
love it. They love
support
it.
the arts.
Support
Fuck
the
y'all.
arts. No, literally.
like, are we gonna give you money?
Stay in the
No.
back.
And I think
Ensemble.
I take after that because I was a sports child. I wrestled, I played football, like I powerlifted. And it wasn't until I dabbled in show choir and then I got into the arts of theater that I was like, oh wait, we're not really seeing. But like meanwhile they're putting TVs in the locker room at like my school and it's just like, oh but like they're getting TV money for TVs, but like we don't got
We don't
money.
get
we don't get
nothing.
anything.
Like we don't give enough. They don't give theater or just the arts enough recognition. And also it's also funny because like people think that theater is one of like the easy majors. I don't think there's an easy major, but theater
It's
as a major
not
is
easy.
not easy, girl.
We're just expressive.
We
That's it.
we just don't let it
That's
get to us.
We're yes.
Like I mean so
Girl,
bro,
I'm like, we're in the D lab until like 1 a.m.
real like I would never choose to like hate myself or like critique myself 24/7 like I would never choose to do that ever.
It's crazy.
Ever.
I'm like, I don't
Like
think
in,
any
like, a
major
STEM
is
class or
easy.
No,
but-
like bro, like please, like I want to be a nurse, like no, I don't.
But yeah, they're like, oh, theater's an easy major. I'm like, girl,
It's
I don't think
not.
any major is easy, but y'all don't know what we go through.
We
Y'all stay
literally,
safe.
no. We have to be a very social, like if you hate working on group projects, I don't know what to tell you about being a theater major.
Bro.
Because it's nothing, because like I used to say that, I'd be like, I prefer to work alone. And meanwhile, like, all these people, or like, you have to be very social. You have to learn how to collaborate. You have to learn to not just go your way or the highway. Also, like, theater, I feel like theater is like, maybe a kinesthetic artistic form of psychology. Because, let me cook. Yeah.
She cooking.
Yeah. So it's
I'm
like, I'm sad. I'm always saying like theater is like a reflection of human society.
Yeah.
It really is like looking into the mirror of human society. Whether we put it in a fictional or a realistic place does not matter. It's the message that we're trying to relay, and theater is made by humans for humans. Even if you add a dragon in there, there's always some type of human moral or theme, whether good or bad. It's like the moral of the story, like it goes to show at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like we have to work even harder because we're not just working as artists. We constantly learn how to be people, how to understand people, how to interact with people, and how to analyze and get to know a person individually. Like when we have to.
Wait, I never thought about it that. Yeah, girl.
Oh, girl, I be thinking. I was like, no, because I had thoughts. I was like, why do I want to stay here? Why do I want to stay and think? What do you have for me? And she was like, well. I was like, okay. But yeah, like. If you think about when we study a character, it's not just like, oh my gosh, Sharpay Evans from High School Musical, that's me.
It's
like,
not.
no, when you get that goat sheet of that goals, obstacles, tactics, and like anything else, like you really have to sit there and think of the character's likes and dislikes, not how to act on that emotion, but why are they reacting like that? Like, they obviously want a goal, and they're going through different tactics of like manipulation of how to get it. And then they're like, oh, that makes sense for like a child. Like, say there's a child in the store. Oh my gosh, mommy, I want this toy. No, the child might start to cry. It's not a bad form of manipulation. They're just doing different things.
Yeah.
And the mom says no, and then they might stamp their feet and get angry. The mom says, fine, whatever, or the mom says no. Like, we have to dive into all that, analyze their world, why the world's the way it is, all of that. And then sometimes you take that outside into the real world and you're like, oh, like you kind of make connections.
Right, and things become more easier.
I feel like you can understand humans better if you dive into being a theater major.
Yeah. Well, because that's part of the reason why I love being a theater major is trying to fully transform yourself to another person, like mentally, physically, vocally. Yeah. Which is something
you can feel it. It's crazy.
And it's also really cool to see other people do
yes.
it. Like we just took a class like contemporary acting, and it was so cool with like everyone did such a good job, but there was like where it was really cool when people would go up and they would literally transform into a different person, like physically and vocally, and it was really cool like seeing that shift. So that's part of the reason why I like it, but also going back to the thing you just said.
If it wasn't cut out.
Yeah.
Are you cutting that out?
No, wait, say it again.
Just basically, like when you, like as theater kids, like we fill out these job applications and like even when we're doing by ourselves or together with other friends, and it sometimes asks you, are you like, what's your major? Like, what do you do? Like what are you into? Right. And people put theater, dance, like I do this, I sing. When they ask you those questions, they're asking us, like, or like theater kids specifically, because theater kids are outgoing individuals and we talk to people and we're really good at like putting a smile on other people's face, but we're also really good at like if we hate things, we'll fake it.
We will.
And we will. And so when
will.
I greet you, I'm not saying it's like fake, but like if like on a job situation, because I know I'm gonna use Kelly and Angelica as like an example because they work at David's Bridal, and they on the application it asks you if you do theater. Yeah. They take theater kids because
they do
at the front desk.
Really?
Like, yes. They like want you to like good customer service comes from people who are really good.
Because you know that they will be very communicative with people, very social.
We have our schedules.
We have schedules set. Like you'll be able to understand them and all this stuff.
Like hot take, theater kids or ATDM kids are more qualified than like other kids.
Well, because we just Which she said. Anything else about this question about what are some challenges you faced as a theater major, or like how has the educational system like helped you?
Did you answer
try to become a theater major? Yeah, I just said that they don't give us enough credit and that they think that it's an easy major, but it's also, and the thing that where it's like they love saying that like, oh, support the arts, but it's like the educational system's not supporting the arts. Yeah. But let's put a poster and then say we went to one performance.
Right. They're like, Rainbow! And
it's like, hey, we need money. We need money to what's an example?
Put up a homecoming dance or a float or I don't know. Buy new shirts for the football team.
And then when like jerseys, you do, or like when theater companies do, like or like for schools at least, they're like, oh, we have ways to raise money, and they're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like let's like look into that.
Yes.
And I'm, like I know my school's like, oh, we can sell cookies, and we ended up did, but it took us such a long time because we're like, we don't know like how we can budget that. Right? Like no, we just gave you a solution on how we can raise money. Why are you
the yearbook committee or the band committee or whatever, or the dance moms PTO got that money.
I think it's crazy whenever they're like, we don't have money, but it's like, oh, but you just bought the football team an entire new
TV.
or new cleats, a new fucking stadium, but you can't give us $100 to build a set.
Bro.
Yeah. When I tell you theater is probably literally more America than America because America government does that too. They'll be like, we don't have money for our people, but for other people,
Yeah,
here you
that's
go.
so
Mama just got a new suit last week. Get
What
out of
did
Mama got a new
say? And then we're like, oh, but we need like houses, and they're like, who?
Who?
What? Hey, how
She
about...
doesn't even go here.
Bye.
That's crazy. Oh, gosh.
Can I
In
read
your
the
own
next question?
backyard.
Yes.
Is what it's giving.
This question's coming live from Miss Britain. Ooh, wait. You know how we're gonna make like little reels? We should do an ASMR part.
What is your opinion on the current educational system for the upcoming classes below us? This is mine. Okay.
Yes!
This is my question.
Yes! That's how I wanted you to
Oh,
be.
okay.
For the upcoming classes
Below us.
Yeah, so how do you think the current like educational system?
For like the newer generation.
Yeah, the newer
Yeah.
generation, the ones below us, like how is that
Ones that are
different
not-
than ours?
I
Is it
got-
better? Is it
The
worse?
only thing I got to say,
Oh,
Yo.
that cord is only so long.
good luck. Good fucking luck.
Well, because we also mentioned a little bit about this, where it's
Yeah.
like they're cutting parts out of history.
Critical race theory. That's all I gotta say. Because they said cut it out. I said, what do you mean?
No, yes, and then
It's
specifically
crazy.
there was an article or a TikTok or something where it's like that specifically the Texas educational system is cutting so much out of the textbooks.
Yes.
Specifically, that has to do with any type of like slavery, anything like that, where they were like,
literally saying slavery is a choice.
yeah,
they
and
weren't,
that
they weren't
it didn't
harmed.
exist.
Mama, they want harmed.
Oh,
The generational trauma is just a figure
What
of my
happened to
imagination.
Harriet?
then.
What did she do?
Harriet!
They weren't harmed, really? You think Harriet Tubman was walking around
She
with
was
a
going back and
some
forth.
superheroes in the crowd?
Back and forth.
No, bitch.
oh my god.
Bitch was barefoot. She was barefoot running, saving her people.
10 dogs
Oh my
and
God.
one heart.
Stars.
One heart.
Bro, you just rap.
You really did. You really did.
That's racist.
Hamilton?
Well,
You girl, you just rapped. What happened to Harriet? No, bitch, what happened to Rosa? I mean, if I was the 9 to 5, I'm not getting my fat ass up either. So
I'm sad.
she said, I'm sad.
No, because I wish somebody would be like, ooh,
Move. I'm sad. What do you mean people weren't harmed?
real comfortable.
Real. Mama, I don't know what y'all, but just that bus seat was
I'm sorry.
mad
It was so hot. My thighs were stuck to the seat. I don't know what's
My
going on.
thighs was right.
It's not that I don't want to get up. I can't get up.
I
I'm
can't.
stuck to the seat.
Y'all gonna need to get some pliers or
You
something.
can sit in the
'cause-
back. I'm in the front. Yeah.
The last 5 minutes are everything.
What was the question?
What was the question?
It was how
World
has
peace.
Harriet Tubman affected your life? No, it was.
I'm stuck.
It was oh, she stood.
We standing for Harriet. That's all it is. No words. You can look it up. We're not self-teaching, even though we're a podcast.
And now we're gonna sit for Miss Rosa. And
Please rise for Harriet and sit
sit
for
for
Miss
Rosa.
This is crazy.
It's like, I love it.
I am a follower at that.
Come on now.
So it was, what is your opinion on the current educational system that the new generation and the classes below us have to go through?
I think they have it easy. Sorry.
No. Continue.
I think they just have it easy. I think that we had to, we were forced to take STAR tests on STAR tests
Come on now.
on the educational, not only the educational system, but like America and what we've learned in history and world history, and
Yeah.
because those are two different things apparently.
Yeah.
But like we had to pass tests based on those things, but now the people below us are like.
They don't even learn
They don't-
cursive anymore.
Right, they don't teach cursive anywhere at all.
Like, all of a sudden.
And like I had to learn cursive, and I took a cursive test in 2nd grade, and I'm dyslexic.
Let me tell you.
I know. It's over the
You also, she was like,
We said, yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Wait, genuinely, like, yeah. Did they like? How is being dyslexic like?
It affected me a lot because I didn't have that second, I guess, adult or like another mentor next to me who was like,
Who was like translating?
right.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm sorry, whatever you can make out, just make sure that like you can like make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
And I
That's
was
crazy.
like, that's crazy.
Because if it's
It
wrong.
is. If it's wrong, it's my fault.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the educational system for black people, at least, we're set up to fail.
Yeah.
But like, I like this girl named Brooklyn. Like, she had teacher on teacher. Like, oh my God, Brooklyn, that looks so good. But something that we can fix, something that we can work on is this.
Yeah.
I never had that. I had, okay, it's good where it looks right now, but make sure like, just
Like
make sure you're
next
paying.
time.
Yeah, make sure you're paying attention in class.
I feel like my brain
You're
literally
like,
works a different way. I'm
Right.
literally
Yeah.
seeing things a different way, and that's literally what I'm
Yeah.
telling you. And you're like, well, see it another way.
Yeah.
Let me just rewrite my DNA real quick.
Literally, I was like, oh, so
Obviously.
everything's our fault.
Not you.
Got
It's
it.
connecting.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
for the white person that sees this podcast and is like, oh my God, it's not about you POCs, just think about this for a second. You technically, the world, America was built up on you. America is built up on white people specifically.
For you.
And for you. The educational system for America in this world for black people and POCs around, it's not built for us at all. It's not built for us to succeed. And if we do, it's rare. And if we like, not only is it rare, it's like, oh my God, you completed your quest.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Like,
like,
oh, you did
you
it.
did it. Like,
Wow.
you fought tooth and nail, but like,
So, K
why
through
do I have to
12.
fight?
No, that's the thing where they're
Why
like,
do I
wow,
have
you
to
went through
fight?
so, you are here, and it's like, okay, but why?
Why?
Why
Do I
did I
have to
have?
fight?
Like, why did they have to do that? You
Well,
know?
because you hear people all the time, like, I hear people say, like, oh, I love to learn new things, I love to gain more knowledge, but sometimes it's not all the time in school. Like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to fight for that knowledge.
Mhm.
We really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And since when has America or like
We're on America's
bro, since when has America like had students who like want to learn? Like that's like you are getting, I know like teachers are getting paid to be there regardless, and your teachers are even getting paid to like sit at home when they want to play sick. But like my thing is like, since like when is the last time a student has stood up and was like, I want to learn, like this is what I came here to do. Like my parents aren't paying out of taxes for me to come in here and for a teacher to look at me and tell me just because I'm dyslexic, like I have to come learn or repeat another grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I feel like there should also be more branches of education to make it equal, not putting people like not a separate but equal type thing. I'm not trying to bring that back, but like just like different. Are you tired? Are you bored?
No, I was like, you said like bringing it back, and I was like, oh, girl.
Oh, I thought you said.
She goes, bitch, you just yelled at me.
No, I was like, oh, girl, like
No,
imagine.
The way I
Well,
stopped
because the way
my
America's
whole
going right now,
You never fucking know.
No, because it's so true. Because I feel like the only two branches right now are like
The legislative and the judicial.
are like
Sorry.
the education. It's like they have classes for people. They have like the special education classes or what they call the SPED classes, and then they have classes for like the other students as well that learn on a different level. And I feel like, and one, we can talk all day about how those classes don't even accommodate to the needs and the desires of the students of those classes, because they're not even like a lot of those teachers, they more babysit the students no matter what age than actually teach them.
Well, because a lot of them, there are a few who went into like the education system for them specifically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, a lot of the teachers who did it, and they were kind of like assigned to that. So, and you can tell because of the way they're treating those kids.
Right.
I remember one time, ooh,
Come on now.
it was in high school, and it was like they would, because you know they were on like different classes or whatever, and they were going outside with us to play, and then it's like the teachers who specifically went to teach the special ed classes, like they had a lot more patience, and they were like, what is it, I guess patience was the biggest thing, and the other teachers were like screaming at them and like getting so frustrated and like just not, what is it, not attending, I guess attending to their needs.
Yeah.
You know, like seeing what their needs are and taking care of them. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
That,
It was
like,
just, it's
adhering
crazy.
to what they
Yes,
need.
adhering to
Yeah.
what those kids needs, and I'm like, wow, you're gonna yell at them?
And I'm not saying like a black or white decision, like, oh, if you're gonna, like, oh, they should learn exactly in the way that we are learning, like, you don't need a babysitter, and this.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that, like, oh, take the training wheels off or whatever, because it's not even necessarily training wheels. They just need to be looked after a certain way that helps them out as well. But I'm saying, like, some people, all I'm saying is that there are teachers in those classes with those students that won't even bother doing anything to help them. Like, sometimes even if they're just like supposed to just help them, like not even teach them, just help them, sometimes they just don't even do that. Like, it could be the simplest thing, and it's a really it's very much a slip in the cracks of the education system. And then also with other people, like maybe with ADHD or with dyslexia or this is that, like there's just so many different ways that we are learning that a human thinks. A human, like neurodiversity, I think neurodiversity is the right word, is like, we're realizing it's very prominent. It's not just like, oh, you learn this way or you can't.
Yeah.
Sucks. Like, it's not that at all. Because we're learning so many ways a human can think, a human can like interact, which is not a shocker, because if we're different in so many ways physically, why wouldn't we be different, like biologically or
Yeah.
neurologically or whatever?
Yeah.
So I feel like we should expand more on the education system than what we have.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, you know? Yeah.
I think you said something about like, when was the last time that like kids said that they actually wanted to learn? In a way that like, kind of to like relate it back to theaters, like there's the people who are like, oh, well, people don't want to see these type of plays where it's like actually has like subject matter that has to do with like the real world, like specifically like Blown in a China Shop or like
Lydia,
the Laramie Project, you know, things about like social issues or class issues or race and stuff, and there's like, oh, people don't want to see that, but it's like, yeah, they do. Like, we're at an age where it's like, that's what we want to do, that's what we want to perform, that's what we want to see.
Right.
So it's like, why, and then tying it back to school, it's like, why aren't we teaching more of that stuff of like, so the instead of like cutting things out, we should teach everything and not make ourselves look good, you know?
Right.
Like, what the fuck does that matter?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
No.
Anything else about this last question?
I don't have anything else.
No?
Is that the last question?
Well, those are the only questions that I had planned, but if you guys like, well, 3 of them were mine, then Britt was one of them.
Because the question that I was gonna ask is already in there.
Do y'all have any other? I'm so sorry. What else do you guys have to talk
Cue the
about?
flags. Oh, say,
Can you see by the dawn's It's because for Texas, we had to sing this
bitch,
song.
this is not Texas.
I know, but it's like,
bitch, this is not.
I was like,
I don't know why the fuck you chose to do this, because I definitely looked at you. I was like, what the fuck, you graduated?
Because I was like, oh, she's singing this part. Let me like do the harmony that I had to learn.
It didn't
from
fucking
Texas.
work.
Yes, it did.
Amazing Grace. How sweet
the
sound.
My question would be like, just so we cover like both ends of the coin, do you think there are any current like positives of the educational system?
Because we've been dragging
We
her.
Yeah.
We grabbed her by the hair, took her earrings off, and put her ass.
Oh, sorry, the table. My
Yeah.
bad.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. I mean, we can cut this part out.
No, I
But
think
what-
that's good. That's a
what was
good
your
question.
question?
Well,
Say it
I'm
again.
gonna cut the banging because you'll bring that up later. But I guess like, do you guys find any positives within the education? That's why we're cutting it out.
Edginal?
Leave him alone. He's just a boy.
Edginal?
No, but like, do you guys find any positives with the educational system? Or like, do you see any parts of the educational system that like, if we work on it a little bit, it could help
Yeah.
fix?
I think, like, relating back to, like, again, this is, like, my lived experience, and a lot of people might not relate to it, but it's, like, my little cousins and my sister, they have, because their first language was also Spanish, they're now in a space where it's like they're more set up for success and they don't have to struggle in school as much and they don't have to feel so like such an outcast as a pariah, you know, and they don't have to feel like they're falling behind in school. So what?
So no, I had to fall. I had to rise to me. Hooray.
And I'll rise up.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think that, and then also, I think people are being more okay with like, it's still scary, but like this relates more to school than like the educational system, but like being yourself a little bit more is a little easier in a sense. There's still like, you know, what if this happens, what if I say this and this happens and stuff, but it's like,
It's
you're-
different than what it was.
yeah, like you're able to find a lot more like groups where it's like you can feel safe being yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's another good thing. I guess people are a little bit more accepting now than they were back then. And even like if they don't totally get you, they're not gonna, I don't know what they used to do in the day.
No,
Throw rocks at you,
Yeah, the rocks that you stone you, water hose, like
all of that.
whites only, like.
No, come on. I think also, like, yeah, like what you said, in the sense that, because we're not saying it's more accepting like 100%, because nothing's gonna be 100%.
Yeah.
All we're saying is whatever the number of percentage of improvement there is, that number is there.
Yeah.
Like there is some leeway, some progression than what it was, which I think the entire world has noticed with this generation as a whole, that we are more expressive and accepting in our own ways. I also think with the positive with the education system is that there are a little more things that professors are willing to teach than just math, science, and like history and English. Like, you know, women and gender studies, or I mean, that's the one on the top of my head right now, but there's just like other classes, other avenues. Like it might not be a whole major, but you can minor in it. Like there are little things that people are like, oh, this can become like a major. You can make a business off this. This can be a topic in school, and then soon enough you can get your degree in it, or at least your minor or certificate, or you can say that you have some sort of title in your knowledge with this from school. So I think they're opening up doorways to more education in the education system than the standardized education that we learned in like K through 12.
Yeah.
Like I think you really find that in college. Like there's clubs and organizations on this, but there's also a teacher who's teaching like a mini lecture on this or this, that. And it's like, oh, like that wasn't even a topic in high school or something like that. It was just the standard core classes, but there's like other things that you can take. Some things are younger than others. So I feel like it is expanding in the education more, and I think one that is slowly coming in is finance, and not just for accountants or stuff like that. Like there's becoming classes on like finance, or like workshops on money management. Like I think somewhere they're hearing the people, because a lot of us are talking about finance because debt, she's our next door neighbor, she's always there. And I feel like that's also slowly coming into the education system more on how to be better and more financially stable at a younger age. You can be successful and maybe retire later, which I am very adamant about, because nobody wants to be in debt. So yeah.
I think as far as being successful, I think that, like Edgar said, I feel like people's minds are opening up to like being kind of inclusive and people feeling comfortable. But I just still feel like there's like loopholes between loopholes. Like this world, like we're like we'll have one problem where like we feel that we're not being educated enough, and then they give us these colleges and they give us education and they give people of color the opportunities, and then they're, wait, but you have to pay for it. Therefore, we're gonna take your money. And I feel like it's just like, oh, like I put myself in a position where I want education, but it costs so much, and so it's just like loophole in between loophole in between loophole. Like it's just like
It's like there's things you can do, but then you have to pay it back. Like
right.
there's just a lot. I feel like that just might be a natural thing in humanity. It was something created by humans for humans. It's basically something that's flawed made for something that's flawed. Like in the sense that humans aren't perfect. There's always loopholes in something that we make, that we create for a mass number of a community. And I just think our everyday stride in life is just to how to, because we can't be perfect, but how to tie up the loose ends that we don't notice once we make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or that we did notice but we purposely ignored. How to tie up those loose ends. And that's just the daily stride.
I think that like for the younger classes, like resources are more accessible, like whether it be like the internet and you can Google stuff and stuff like that, but also just like if we talk about like there's like resources for like mental health and like you guys talked about like different organizations and stuff, so I think there's like better, like schools are better, I guess not better equipped, but they have more things for people to learn and expand on their knowledge and stuff, so I think that's a good thing. But yes, huzzah!
The last podcast of the semester.
Whoop. Do you have any final thoughts?
Do you have final thoughts, Mr. Graduator?
I don't think so. I think
He said bye.
I mean I'll be around, and so but you'll see my face every
Hashtag
now and
super
then, but
senior.
not like that. Anything else you guys have to say about the education? Oh my god, that almost hit me. Or like the struggles of in the middle of me talking. Fuck. Or like theater major or anything like that.
We did better, but we need to do better. That's what I say for the attendance.
I think like I feel like we were going on a good path, and now there's certain things that I'm like, where are we going back?
There's always people that want to revert back to the good old days.
Well, because specifically our generation, like we love getting educated on stuff, so we're as the other people call us more woke.
Yeah.
And so we know like, hey, this is stupid.
Yeah.
We'll call things out more than other people did. So they're like, how can we take away more of that from them?
Yeah.
So we're still in control.
I feel like that's also like I know Ray was like I thought y'all were wrapping up.
Sorry.
But I think
I thought we were. That was a joke.
Can you make a compilation of how many times Ray says
That's the end.
That was a joke.
All you hear is do.
But I also think one thing that I think is very interesting is the generations. Like there's always a generation every now and then that is trying to break the chains of something. Like I feel like one of the ones that I've been thinking of lately ever since I went into like analyzing the musical Hair, which is about like the counterculture and the hippies of the late 60s and stuff like that during the Vietnam War, and they were trying to get their soldiers out the war and talk about all that, and also like talk about the education system and express love and all that. Like they were a very powerful young generation the older generation did not expect. They did not expect rainbow sunshine and peace, not violence. They did not expect that at all. But they came with a reckoning. And I feel like Gen Z is also that in our own way. I feel like the people of the civil rights movement or like any type of generation that had like a big, massive movement from something that was a big and massive problem is always looking for that like little catalyst shot of change. I think humanity always has that now and then. We're like doing something and then there's a generation that's like, meow, and then we're doing something, it's like, meow, and we're literally doing that again. So
I agree. Slay? Any other final thoughts?
Do better, America.
Do better,
Well,
or I'm taking you down.
Well, we
Do better, America. That was my.
You could apply with that.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was
Our
a lot of
nightly
fun.
podcast.
I just spit. It was a lot of fun to record, and what?
You were like, I just fit. I'm like,
That's funny, I got it.
fuck, cut it.
Okay. Well,
Alright,
we hope
fans.
you enjoyed this epised. It was a lot of fun to record.
Yes.
It was so fun to do the dip with OSBS, and so I
And
was
get the scoop.
and get the scoop. It was fun. Ew, I'm gonna cry again.
Can you cry? If you cry, can you cry in ASMR?
No,
No,
I
no,
kind of
we
do because when I
literally
cry,
hear
I
this
don't
teal-
make noise.
tears
I
like a
just
water
go.
ball.
Shh,
No,
can
the
I
way
go?
Edgar cries.
Bitch, you give your mouse piss on cotton with that cry.
But that's crazy expression. I'm using.
Have you not heard that? I'm gonna be like, damn, it was so quiet in that room. You can hear a mouse piss on cotton. And I'd be like,
Never heard that. Whatever happened to a pin drop? I want to know.
What happened to hello?
goodbye.
We hope you all enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun to record. My very last episode with you two lovely people. We hope you had fun. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow us on social media at Open Space.
Space.
This is why they're. I'm actually not graduating. They're actually kicking me out of the organization.
They said you need to stay in the education system.
You're not fully developed yet, girl. But
No way. Okay.
what? Anyways, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, we are going on Christmas break, so it might be a while before you see us again. And yes, so fun. Love you all. Thanks for an amazing time. Bye, America.
We're.
But yes, thanks for a
You
lovely
literally said bye
2
like
years.
3 times.
안녕. 안녕하세요. sayonara.
I was gonna do the same thing. Oh, bye bye world. Bye. And follow us on OSBS. Oh, and on TikTok. We're gonna be doing more things. She has a lot of fun things. Now that this bitch is leaving. Well, I'll be around. Wow. And it'll be funny. And you look at your sweatshirt. You know what? You don't get compensation for everything you sell. Speaking of, we do need to.
We need to have a cut.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.